Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another video on the channel. And today guys, we are going to be continuing our round reviews. This time it is every single game of the rounds, and today we're going to be reviewing round 3. We're going to be doing a quick review of round number 3. Big action from this round as well. And this round is really important. 3-0-0-3. These next two rounds, 4 and 5, will have some big meaning as well as already have the first 3 rounds of the season. So today we're going to be reviewing every game from round number 3. So let's go ahead and hop right into things. We'll be doing every single game. So let's go ahead and start. So again, obviously we don't have a lot of time, so we don't really go over much stats. But the Western Bulldogs won against the Swans round 3 Thursday night at Marvel Stadium. They won 9-17-71 to 9-6-60 now. They were in front for most of the game. Well, they were in front for every single part of the game, actually. But the Swans were always kind of there. But again, it was around a 15 to 20 point lead for most of the contest. And they take this one out by 11. And then you can see here are some of the leaders for the game. Some stat leaders, but Western Bulldogs, it wasn't the most convincing win. They were very inaccurate. They should have won this game by more. But that was a real big game, that one. It really meant a lot for the Dogs and for the Swans. Stops them going 3-0. Now, most of us would have thought that this one was all going to go one way, and the Essendon were not going to be a chance. And Melbourne won 14-15, 99 to 10-10, 70. Now, Melbourne were actually a little bit more inaccurate than what they normally are this game. So again, they probably could have taken it out by a little bit more than what they ended up doing so. But they did not play their best footy. And they actually haven't been playing their best footy for the first 3 rounds. I feel like that is left to come. But again, once they do get rolling out that midfield, they can go Gawn to Oliver, handball over to another player, and they kick the goal from 50 out. And that is how they have the ability to score quickly. So they can actually really do better than this. This was probably not their best game, as we all saw, but again, it's how you get the 4 points. Doesn't really matter how. Now, again, this one was a pretty standard game for the Demons. They were up for pretty much the whole game. Little slight leads for the Bombers, but again, nothing really that substantial. And Demons walk away with a pretty comfortable 29-point win. And here are some stat leaders from the game. But yeah, again, pretty simple win for the Demons. They've had a good start to the year. Now onto the showdown, where the showdown sends Port Adelaide 0-3, and the Crows get their first win of the year. They start their year. The Crows win by 4 after the siren in what is a dramatic ending. Some say that free kick shouldn't have been given. That free kick was a free kick. That free kick was unnecessary, and you wind it back to Boak. That's a pretty simple set shot for a player of his standard. The heat was way too much, the pressure was way too much for him, and he could not do it. And he missed, and we won. Crows won 13-14, 92 power to Adelaide 15-6, 96. Run it after siren by a drifter by Jordan Dawson. It drifted past the goalpost, and then it came back through and went through for a goal. Now, again, Port Adelaide were in front for most of this match. Adelaide led there, and right at the end, there. And that was it. The power, they were in front for most of this game. But again, it doesn't matter how you do it. Just got to get the 4 points. And the power, 0-3, they've got some problems. And here are some of the leading players, leading stat leaders. But yeah, it was a fiery showdown, and the Crows got the job done. And that is a big game, and that really sends some shockwaves around the power. Now, on Saturday, the first game started at 4:35 or 4:05. 4:05 for me, 4:35 for probably most of you, if you live in like Victoria, New South Wales. But again, this one was a pretty boring game. GWS 12-11-83 defeat the Giants. So Giants 12-11-83 defeat the Suns 8-9-57. This game was really boring. To say the least. Suns never led. Really easy for the Giants. They skipped away to a big win. There was not really a lot interesting in this game. There was one really interesting thing though, and that was that midfield man Tuke Miller for Gold Coast was double tagged. Not allowed to do anything. So he only got 16 or 17 touches or something like that. And there's a quarter of nothing here for the Giants, really. But other than that, they were They were pretty good, and they showed that they are really trying to be a finals-worthy team. Here are some leading performers from the game. But yeah, again, pretty easy win for the Giants. Now, in this game, it was quite easy to say the Pies got robbed or Collingwood choked in this game. Now, the Cats were not meant to win this game, I'll tell you that right now. In fact, this was meant to be Collingwood's game. At three-quarter time, everyone's like, oh, geez, this game is over. Looked to be that way as well. They looked to be up by a fair way up. And the Cats came back and won the game. Now, I know for you Collingwood fans out there that you would not want me to talk about this game. Now, this is actually what I have to do. I have to talk about every game in the round. But Collingwood did choke, and they should have won it up here. They got 1 point in the final term. It was a little bit unacceptable now. They were a little bit inaccurate as well early, which could have definitely cost them. Jeremy Cameron, 6 goals. Fantastic. Here are some leading scorers. Nick Dacos, first goal in AFL footy. Also, Joel Selwood, this was his leading game as captain, record-breaking game. Now, this game was quite easily the most boringest game of the round. Brisbane 23-18, 156, beating North Melbourne 7-6-48. They won by 108 points. There is nothing to say. It was just so easy for the Lions. They were just way too good. They banged on 9 goals, 5 in that final term to really be comfortable winners. North Melbourne just weren't even there. We all knew they were not going to even play anyway. We all knew they weren't really going to challenge the Lions up there unless if an upset was to happen on the cards. Here are some leading stat leads. But again, this was not good for the Roos. And for the Lions, absolute show. Like, everyone got involved. They were fantastic, were Brisbane. Now on to Carlton versus Hawthorne. A really big game. Decides who goes 3-0 when some of us would have expected, especially Hawthorne, not to go 3-0, but some of us even didn't think Carlton were going to go 3-0. I most certainly didn't think they were going to go 3-0. And look where they are now. They are in perfect position to make the 8, really, and they probably now should make the 8 as well. I feel like they're pretty far ahead as well. Now, this was probably not their best. Well, this was not their best game. And yes, Lachlan Kellett, you did say that to me as well. It definitely wasn't their best game. They almost choked a 40-point lead, pretty much. And that's, well, like, when you see that, that's just not good. But it did go down to the cliffhanger. But in the end, the Blues just way too strong. But yeah, I feel like this was definitely not their best game. You can see there some of the leading stat leaders. And yeah, but it was a good game for the Blues. They got the job done. But other than that, it definitely wasn't their best game. But again, they are a real competitor this year. So St Kilda came from the clouds to snare an absolute beautiful victory over the Tigers. 18-9, 117 defeats the Tigers, 13-6, 84. Tigers got off to a fast start in a very high-scoring game at Marvel. It's an up-and-down first quarter. Second quarter is more in favour of the Tigers. Third quarter in favour of the Tigers as well. But you see here, midway through the third quarter, St Kilda just start their flow of goals. They get 1, they get 2, they get 3 goals late in that third, after midway through the third term to really shift a little bit of momentum back into their favour. And from there, it was just go for the Saints. No one from the Tigers could stop them. It was Max King, the man. He kicked 4 last quarter goals to see his team over the line. And what was a brilliant comeback for the Saints. And they showed that they are a worthy top 8 team over the Tigers. And now the final game, West Coast 7-5-47 defeated by Fremantle's 15-12, 102. Now, there was one good moment for West Coast, so we'll go over that now. Nick Nui from the ruck, started the third quarter. They get 2 quick goals in about a minute of play after he hits it down pretty far. He gets on the run of 1, and then another player gets on the run 2 outside 50 goals in no time. That was a really good moment as well. Probably the best moment for West Coast of this derby. And for Fremantle, they did everything right. Schultz was getting in there. There was plenty of players that were doing the hard work, and you can see here some of the leading stat leaders. Tabernar got in with the 3 goals. It was a really good derby for Fremantle. They led the whole game pretty much except for this part here. And a comfortable win over a West Coast team that's not the best right now. So here is the ladder. 3 teams in the 3-0 club, and those teams are Brisbane, Melbourne, and Carlton. They have won all their games so far, and we'll probably see either these three. We'll see at least 2 of these teams, I reckon, get through to the 4-0 club, which from there making finals is a really big thing. Now, Hawthorne in 4th, Freo 5th, Collingwood 6th, Geelong 7th, 8th, Sydney 9th, St Kilda all in the 2-1 club. 10 Gold Coast, 11 Richmond, 12 Western Bulldogs, 13 GWS, 14 Adelaide, 15 North Melbourne, all in the 1 and 2 club. North Melbourne's percentage is really low though. And then Port Adelaide, West Coast, and Essendon need to start their year and get a win. Alright, so here's a look to what round 4 and what round 5 will hold us. So round 4 has Port Adelaide versus Melbourne, Geelong versus Brisbane, Sydney versus North Melbourne, Collingwood versus West Coast, Richmond versus Brisbane, Fremantle versus GWS, Essendon versus Adelaide, Hawthorne versus St Kilda, Gold Coast versus Carlton. Round 5 holds Brisbane versus Collingwood, North Melbourne versus Western Bulldogs, West Coast versus Sydney, St Kilda versus Gold Coast, Adelaide versus Richmond, Melbourne versus GWS, Carlton versus Port Adelaide, Essendon versus Fremantle, and Hawthorne versus Geelong. Big games, massive games for both of them rounds. There are some really big games, and they will decide the ladder. And I feel like round 5 versus Carlton for the power, that's going to decide their season, because I feel like they'll go down the D's. Round 5 is a big round for the power. But thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, so then you guys will never miss another video on the channel. Round 4 preview will be out very soon. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.